Hello, everybody, and we're back with yet another podcast. And yeah, this is going to be one of those days where it might be a little bit difficult to stay chipper. It's been difficult recently. It's been tough, and then we have what seems like a little ray of sparkling sunshine coming through the cloud. Just a little something that gives you a little bit of hope that maybe something's changed, maybe something's gone different. And then the clouds come the fuck back over. Everything is completely dark. The rain is falling, and yeah, we're here to talk about another Spurs loss after what seemed like a reasonable Champions League midweek. I've got Marcel and I've got David with me here tonight. How you doing, Marcel?
Fine, yes. Given the circumstances, I'm as chipper as I can, despite the CADS meltdown behind me.
Yeah. And David, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Still trying to process this mess and trying to find positives and failing, but there you go.
Oh, well, we'll see what we can organise by the end of the evening. We do have Ash coming, so we will be joined by him fairly soon.
Our ray
But
of sunshine.
our ray of sunshine, yeah. So we'll start with Paris Saint-Germain. David, you and I watched the match together, and thoroughly enjoyable in many, many ways. There were things that not quite so great, but still, I thought we potentially had turned the corner. Maybe this was the start of something a little bit more enjoyable, something where we're starting to show that we can attack and play football and look good. But I mean, we did lose that game 5-3, but then again, it was against the European champions. I had hope that against Fulham, we would carry on in the same vein. But I don't know what happened because we came out of that changing room and we looked awful. What did you think of the midweek game to start with?
Well, as you know, I really enjoyed it. Sitting in the prawn sandwich corporate seats in the Parc des Princes. Once again, I feel so lucky that we have such a good stadium because Parc des Princes is another of these stadiums with a athletics track around the outside, and I think it's so bad for atmosphere. But I don't know. So actually, I felt really good about it because I thought we'd showed some really good stuff and then undid ourselves or got undone quite a lot by QT Romero. Then again, looking at it today, I'm thinking, why am I so small time that I'm feeling happy that we lost 5-3 to PSG? How bad are things that I have to be happy about that? I mean, I'm starting to feel almost as bad as Ashley looks.
Hey Ash, how you doing?
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, we're talking PSG before we get into the meat and potatoes of it. Did you watch the game on Wednesday?
I did.
And what did you think?
I feel very similar to what Dave. Hey, we lost 3 games in a week. Can't remember the last time that happened. Yeah, I think I've been worn down since Poch left. Worn down bit by bit by bit, and I'm glad you guys go to the games. And I kudos for turning up there and supporting the team. And all the other away fans. That's fantastic. But I think I'm just being worn down, not just this season, but the last few seasons, just by bad decisions and bad signings and bad everything. And it almost, I hate, it's almost as if you kind of expect it and you don't really care. That's what I'm sort of starting. If you guys weren't here, I don't think I've listened to any podcasts. It wasn't for you guys, I don't think I would have followed up on anything. So there you are. There was some.
That's how it feels in the stadium. Like on Saturday evening, it felt really like this sort of a resignation, a feeling of. I mean, sorry, I've sort of butted in when we're talking about PSG, so maybe I should save it for later. But
No, you carry on.
I think it goes to the same sort of feeling that everyone has. During just before the game starts, when they read out the selection and and Guillermo Vicario and usually everybody's like, what? Here it was like, yeah, Yeah, and it's just it was really sort of really quiet, and yeah, and then you have a bit of a sing song when the Spurs go marching in, and that was all right, and then they line up to get started, and you know, around me I was in the south stand, which is usually that's where you expect the noise. I was in the safe standing area where you expect a bit of a bit of welly, and at kickoff it was people around me were just like watching. They could have been staying at home watching it on TV. To be honest, I'm not having a go at the supporters. I'm just saying that the sort of the atmosphere in the stadium, even before we shat the bed, it was the atmosphere was completely flat. I could hear the Fulham fans like really going for it. I couldn't hear us at all. Knowing my son was there, so he wasn't with me. He was in a different. He was just behind the Tottenham goal, 2 rows back. In the first half in the south stand as well. He said that he thought people were singing. I was turning around and I was looking. People really. It was really quiet, and and I think it. And I'm not Thomas Frank. I'm not having a go at the supporters. I'm not Pedro Porro. I'm not having a go at the supporters. I can understand it. I mean, Noah said I've paid over. I think he said I spent 1,400 quid on home matches in the Premier League, and I've seen wins against Burnley, Southampton, and a terrible Manchester United, and that's it for 2025 for 1,400 quid. People are absolutely, people are fed up and they don't know what to expect anymore. So, I think it's just the atmosphere has gone toxic, and now it's starting to be supporters versus players, which is really bad. It's really bad.
We're definitely going to come to that, trust me. And before we do, Marcel, what were your thoughts? Wednesday to start with.
Yeah. Well, obviously the performance was far better than expected. We were doing some great things, but the one glaring thing was the defensive errors of the Ange era, as we all complained about at the time, are still there. The stupidity of some of the defending, it's just. Is anybody going to take responsibility for the 18-yard line? I mean, I thought that's what the defensive midfielders were supposed to cover.
Yeah.
But time and time again, we leave that completely undefended with enough room for somebody to get a shot away. Arsenal did it to us, and PSG killed us because of it. It just the defense is just shambles.
Yeah.
It was great to see people like Bergvall and Gray really getting stuck into PSG. Some lovely play there. Moani was great. Even Richarlison, to a certain extent, probably had one of his better games. But the defence was what killed us. We were all crowing about how well we played, but we let in 5 bloody goals.
Yeah.
We scored 3 at PSG. Hooray. Oh, sorry, they scored 5. It's not good enough. And I don't care if they're the best club team in the world. It's not good enough. End of.
And yeah, and I want to underline that point from Marcel about the D, the penalty area, the edge of the penalty area. Our midfielders don't like the D, do they? They just leave it to Eze and to opposition attackers. Well, how come over and over again?
Why are we leaving people open? Or what Marcel just said, why are we shipping 5 goals or 4 goals or 2 against Fulham in 6 minutes? Why are either the players not being taught where to be? Why are the players not caring that much where to be? Why is the manager not able to motivate the teams, especially at home? Why, what is going on, and why is there this some sort of breakdown going on? And it's not just this season, it's been going on for a bit. That Europa title, I keep harking back and watch highlights because it makes me feel good, but man.
Highlights are about a minute long, aren't they, of that final?
Well, no, yeah,
You've got the
but some of
goal,
them
A
you've
are
goal
got
out.
Ricky van
and
der
the final
Ven.
and Van der Ven saving
Yeah.
off the line, and then the final whistle.
And Vicario also saving right at the end. So those are the highlights. Yeah, exactly. But I remember praying to my mom watching the game. Mom, let me beat Dad's team just once, please, please, please. So it had a lot of meaning to me. So anyway, why? I don't know if you guys have some thought as to why is there this breakdown? We've basically got
I've
the
got some
same.
thoughts.
All right.
Go for it.
Yeah, I've
Go
got some
for it.
thoughts. Well, number one,
Get the popcorn.
what we're seeing is the result of 8 years of absolutely appalling squad building. Like
Okay.
that's number one. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the Pochettino classic lineup and look at every single position and tell me which one we've upgraded. We've downgraded. Every single person that has left has been replaced by somebody inferior. That's number one. I mean, that's a massive one because all our rivals, and I mean, when I say rivals, I mean people that used to be our rivals when we were a top six team. So I'm talking about not our current rivals, which are West Ham and Wolves. You know, our rivals from the old days. They've all got stronger. They've all invested. They've all gone out and signed, you know, Declan Rice's and I don't know who else. And we've signed, you know, 5 George Nkudus. You know, so that's number one. Number two, in the current regime, Thomas Frank, who I've nailed my colours to the mast early on, saying I'm Frank in, and he's got to stay for the time being. But I think he's in big danger of being fired by Christmas. Big danger. But leaving that to one side, he isn't managing Brentford anymore. He doesn't have a week to fiddle around, and he's also not managing a team that should be reacting to the team that they're playing every week. So we've played in 4 matches 4 completely different systems. And we don't have time. We only have about a day on the training ground to get the new system across. So of course the players don't know. Against Arsenal, they looked like they had no idea what they were supposed to be doing positionally, either in defence or constructing. And it was the same yesterday. People have got no idea what they're doing. And yesterday I was in a line with the dugout. So I had a sight line to the dugout. And there was one point, I think it was in the second half, who did we play? Fulham had a free kick way over on their right side. So it's like way over on the right side. And it took a while to do it. And I was watching what Frank was doing while they were getting ready to take this free kick. He was so nearest him, there was Porro. And then just inside there was Kevin Danso. And he was calling out to them, Kevin, Pedro, come over here. He was asking him to move. I think it was about a meter further out. I mean, the ball was diagonally opposite on the opposite side of getting ready to be taken. And you know, they're looking across and go, oh, so I've got to move. So they shuffled like a meter, maybe 2 meters further to the right. And then the ball came in and it actually went to where Kevin Danso had been standing 30 seconds before. I mean, and that's just like the last bit is just a joke. But what I'm getting to is what Premier League player needs to be told which square meter to stand in on the pitch? What can that possibly be doing to their confidence, to their knowledge that they can actually play this game? And you know, and as it turned out, Kevin Danso was standing in the right place and he'd got it right. You know, it's ridiculous, and it's all this like micromanaging and changing the lineup every 3 days. They can't do it. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. They don't know what the system is. They don't know what the team is. They don't know what the defensive plays are. I mean, early season we were saying, great, we've put the defence structures back together, and we're really good on set pieces. Well, our set pieces are shit, and our defence is shit, and our attack hasn't got any better at all. And that's because we're changing all the time. So if Frank wants to save his job, and I think really we're talking about him saving his job now, he needs to sit down and go, this is my system. I don't care what it is. I thought PSG looked really good. I mean, we looked really good against PSG, and Romero's errors, if we hadn't had them, we might have got away with it. I mean, they dominated us a lot for long periods, but the goals we gave up were stupid goals, or a lot of them were. So if he wants to go for that 4-2-2-2, was it that? should we call it that, then fine. Or if he wants to go 4-2-3-1, or just pick it, stick to it, train the players week in, week out. Don't be changing because we're playing Fulham, for Christ's sake. Make Fulham change to play us. And then, if you need to rotate, but you rotate within an existing system, or you make a little minor change because you've noted this player, well, I need to look after him, so I'm going to put someone on this, but you make adjustments to an existing system. We've got an entirely new system every 3 days. People say we wanted Thomas Frank because he's a pragmatic manager. When I was saying that, and I'm one of the ones that was saying it, it wasn't about changing our method of play for every different opponent. It's saying that when you've got no defence, perhaps you don't want to be gung-ho, like Ange was, for example. But not change your entire formation and your entire style of play every 3 days. So I think that is the why. For me, that's the why. Absolutely.
Brilliant. Absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant. You can all
And it
retire.
shows. It does show because there's been lots of times this season, especially the last couple of games now, where they look like we've got 11 players on the field, but they're just out there without any structure or any clue what they're supposed to be doing or what the other people are doing, in the team. So it's not a team as such. And then we saw 15 minutes yesterday where they got it together. Now, crazy theory. Is that the players saying, we're going to abandon what Frank's told us and we're just going to play our game for 15 minutes and show him his stuff's not working? I don't know.
It's
crazy theory. Who knows what goes on?
Maybe,
But,
yeah, good point.
Yeah. I mean, how could we line up with only Udogie on the left yesterday?
Oh, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Were we 4-4-2 or were we 4-3-3? Because if we were 4-3-3, Richarlison should have been way out on the left, playing as a left winger.
Yeah, neither were. It was like that was just blows my mind. I was looking up because that's again, first half. That's what I was looking at. I was looking up the left wing, and there was just Udogie.
It was squint. The whole setup was squint, wasn't it?
Yeah, completely weird, which makes us incredibly predictable.
Well,
all right, need to, just let's shut down our left flank, Fulham. Just let's stop Kudus and Porro, and it's finished.
Yeah, this tinkering each week gets to me a bit because at a club like Brentford, they're always going to be the underdog.
Yeah.
And so they probably do have to look at the opposition that they're going to be playing against and adjust accordingly. So I can understand it maybe at Brentford. But here we've got I'm not saying they're superstars, but we've got a squad that's a level up. We should be concentrating on our game and not the opposition.
Absolutely.
We should be the underdogs now. But he's treating us like the underdogs, as he did at Brentford, and he's tinkering too much, and it's not working, obviously.
Mm.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lack of joined-up thinking a lot of the time. I pointed out to David during the warm-up against PSG, we were practicing corners, okay? And what we were doing, we had Mo Kudus taking a corner and knocking it to, I think, Odegaard. Both players who weren't starting the game. So we were practicing corners with players who weren't going to be on the pitch for the majority of the match.
Wow.
What on earth is going on? And then when we actually came to take a corner in that game, completely different setup. You look at when PSG were doing their warm-up, they were actually practicing how they were going to move the ball around and create space and get people into areas. We didn't do any of that at all. And it was just like, wow, there's one team on here that's serious and is actually going to try and go and win the match, and another side that's going to try and get something from it by shutting the others down. And honestly, the game against Fulham, it seemed like we were trying to restrict Fulham from doing their thing instead of us imposing what we wanted to do on them.
Yeah.
And failing even at that.
Way too much decision.
And even failing at that, very, very limited ambition. We didn't even manage that. Because they like 2-0 at half time. I thought we were bloody lucky to go in only 2-0 down.
Oh, it should have been 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Despite the issues that Vicario had, and there is definitely one glaring one that we're going to have to discuss. he made some saves that actually kept us in it.
Yeah.
And the Mickey van der Ven challenge kept us from conceding another goal. You know, people talked about Chukwueze as being like, oh, you know, how they picked up this great player.
Trick magic.
He had a good game, but he also had a hell of a lot of space to do his thing because our tactical setup was so inept that we gave him all the space he wanted.
Yeah.
That's how he got through 1-on-1 on his own against the goalkeeper. It was just crazy. And I've been listening back to the podcast we did at the start of the season when he got appointed. All right. And we spent probably something like an hour and 10-minute show. We spent, I think, 10 minutes talking about Thomas Frank, and the rest of it was about the players. I don't think we were even convinced then that Thomas Frank was absolutely the right guy.
I was, but I don't think I was on that podcast.
You weren't on that one, so
yeah. No, I was absolutely convinced. And you know, I think he's. I mean, I think he's in massive danger of his job. I think he's probably going to keep it for a while longer because what are we going to do? Put Matthew Wells in for the rest of the season? And I think that's the only reason why he's going to stay in a job because we're going to lose Tuesday night. Absolutely certain we're going to lose on Tuesday night, and I don't expect anything for the following match, which is Brentford, I think.
Yes, 5 losses we're looking at.
And you know, and I think he's circling the drain, and he's circling the drain because he hasn't adapted to managing at a bigger club. And I've got a slightly contrary, that's my number one theory. My number two theory is that, you know, he left Brentford to come to Tottenham because he's a bigger club with better players. But actually, I'm starting to wonder, aren't a lot of our players a load of shit? I mean,
no,
really?
I don't think they are.
I don't think they're shit. It's just not the level that we need to be competing right at the top.
Yeah,
we've got a good average Prem players. A lot of them. Maybe we've got some great players. I mean, let's be honest. Van der Ven, Bergvall, Gray, Muani, as I mentioned before,
Romero.
They're great, and maybe even Kudos if he gets his act together again as he did at Guineas. So, you know, and on the bench the other day, yesterday we had Sarr and Xavi and also Kinski. I know he's young, but I think there's a goalkeeper in there. But the rest of them, I mean, sorry, Romero, for me, all he's interested in is playing for Argentina. He's not the player that he used to be, nor is Bentancur since his ligament injury. He's never come back, has he?
Oh, really? Sorry, he's never hit the right heights.
You know,
so I think we've had a very rough November, you know, start of November, we looked at the fixtures and we said we'd be lucky to get 2 wins out of this, and I don't think we did. December looks easier, but there are still games in here that really could trip us up massively. We start with Newcastle. That's not a good start. Then we've got Brentford coming to us. Now, Brentford actually seem to be doing all right at the moment. They seem to have actually picked up since Thomas Frank.
They're ahead of us. They're ahead of us.
They are ahead of us. Then we've got Slavia Prague, and if we do not beat Slavia Prague at home, there are going to be some major issues because that should be a nailed-on win, and that will basically qualify us for the playoff round of the next round of the Champions League. We're not going to finish top 8. That's just not going to happen now. But you know, the next 8 we should be firmly in there, and then we've got a real problem because then we've got Nottingham Forest. We're away. Liverpool, we're at home, and then we're away at Crystal Palace. And right now, I don't fancy us to win against Nottingham Forest, let alone Liverpool or Crystal Palace. And that is really worrying because those are teams you think you should actually have some chance of being competitive against.
And the reality is we saw the November fixtures and we said, oh, November's going to be rough, but at least the last one's only Fulham.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
Well, no,
I haven't won away from home all season.
I said we do actually tend to struggle against Fulham, so that one could be tough as well. I hate to be right on that one, I really do. Going back to David's point about, you know, squad building over the last 8 seasons since Mauricio Pochettino, we had a bloody good squad then. We're probably the best squad we've had since I've been a Tottenham supporter. So
yeah, but I mean, why did we go backwards? Why couldn't we build them? Why, you know, I mean, and it's still going on now. I mean, we lost. Who have we replaced Son with?
Oh, we haven't.
Well, Tell, Oh, the bear. You know, who have you replaced Madison with?
Xavi is the
You mean
Madison
Ericsson?
replacement, but
Yeah.
Ericsson.
So
Xavi needs time.
yeah, all right,
Eric.
but we didn't need
Yeah,
someone that needed time. We needed someone that was good
yeah, yeah.
now. Who have we replaced Kane with?
Yeah, Solanke. It's
I
not
mean, come
physically
on,
fit.
it's just absolutely rubbish with every single position. Who did we replace? Who's playing in Dembele's position?
Deli Ali.
Who's
He was.
replaced Dele Alli? Who's replaced Christian Eriksen? Who's
Yeah, no,
replaced
it's
Danny
this
Rose?
is the thing.
Who's
It's
who's
really
replaced
difficult to
Hugo
upgrade from
Lloris?
those players, isn't it? How do you
Well,
upgrade from those players?
you don't
Let,
downgrade. I mean, or at least not every single position is
but
worse.
But
why?
Every
if you
single
have to
position.
move on, if you have to move, if you have to refresh the squad, which those players couldn't be playing now. Well, Delhi could, but he's obviously not at the level that we wanted. But
No, I'm not saying I want them back.
Danny Rose retired, Alderweireld retired, Hugo Lloris in retirement league, Vertonghen retired, Danny Rose retired. Did I say Danny Rose? Carl
Yeah.
Walker's at Burnley, um,
No, but I'm
Dembele's
not saying I want
retired.
those players back. What I'm saying is, you know,
Real
Arsenal at that
replacements.
period had a terrible squad and they've rebuilt their
Yeah.
squad. And we started from a position way further forwards and we've gone way backwards. You know, it's just not
Okay.
good enough.
And why has that happened is because a lot of the transfer shenanigans. Let's just call
Yeah,
this Levy's legacy.
yeah, that's
Absolutely.
exactly what I think, actually.
Pretty
I
sure those are the
defended
words you
Levy quite
used
a
on
lot, but
Wednesday. Yeah.
And it's
yeah,
going to
but
take a while to get over. It really is going to take a while to get over.
yeah. I think
Unfortunately.
they need to do a reset this week. Frank needs to say that I'm tearing up what I was doing. We're starting over. I'm sorry. I've messed up. Don't hold the players responsible. We've said stuff we shouldn't have said. This is day zero. Frank 2.0. We're starting over because they can't carry on like this. They can't carry on like this in terms of their relationship with the fans either. I mean, this is getting this is getting ugly.
Yeah.
Porro posting stuff on Instagram talking about true Spurs fans. Like he'll be here for 4 seasons, probably maximum. People in the ground, they've been going for 40 years.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
don't start telling it, don't start saying who's a Spurs fan and who's not. I don't agree with booing players. I don't. Not especially not individual players. I agree with Frank, but you just don't go there. Just don't go there. Just don't respond to it.
It
Just
would
say
be fantastic.
sorry.
Dave, it would be fantastic if he did that reset. I don't know if he has the balls to do something like that, but it's like when Stu was away, I was saying, like, if he was just honest about it, and said this is a rebuild and we're going to try and build this team, but this is our identity. Let's follow through with this identity and see if it works. I don't know if he's got the balls to do something, or if anybody upstairs has the cojones to actually tell him, hey, this is what we got to do. Frank 2.0, or you're gone soon.
Hmm.
Has he got the time to do it? Because we've got
Probably,
Newcastle on Tuesday, and
absolutely.
the games come thick and fast. It's Tuesday, Saturday, following Tuesday, Sunday. Then we have a whole week, everybody. Well, 6 days.
But he just can't carry on like this. He cannot carry on like this.
You
Yeah.
probably will, Dave.
He can't. I mean, if he goes out on
No, he can't.
Tuesday night with some like sort of 3-6-1 or whatever formation, I mean, I almost wouldn't be surprised. And that I'll blow up on Tuesday night if he does that. He's got to go out and say, "This is my,"
Somewhere along the line, he may have to just sit there and look at that 15 minutes where we look like a team and say, right, what were we doing right then? Let's do that.
Yeah.
I
Or
mean, I'm
what?
being simplistic, but
Or what were we doing right against PSG?
at certain
Actually,
times.
right. For about the first 60 minutes, we were doing a lot of things right against PSG.
Yeah. I mean, Jed Spence, who was against probably the best, I think one of the best wingers in the world at the moment. That guy whose
Mm.
name I just can't pronounce from Georgia, Kruncharavreshkrovili.
That's the guy.
I
That's
mean,
him.
the guy had to change sides because he didn't get anything out of Jed Spence for 45 minutes. He came back out second half. He was playing on the left instead of the right. I mean, that was a fantastic performance from Jed Spence. He also got us the corner that we scored from by a really really good enterprising run up the left. there's stuff we could have built on from the PSG match, because I thought, okay, we messed up defensively, but we know we've got excellent defenders, so we can fix that. You know, we can fix that. But then he tore it all up and started again on Saturday night. Why? Just build on it. You know, like you said, Marcel, either look at the 15 minutes against Fulham or look at, you know, the 45 minutes against PSG, but just decide on one thing and stick to it. Train on it. All the players training the same way. Right. Sorry, I'm going to shut up for a while. I'm talking too much, aren't I?
No, you're
I've got the
talking just the
hump.
right amount. You know, it's one of those nights where it's look, it's not going to be easy to talk about this and try and remain rational and sensible. I'm certainly trying to hold in a little bit of rantiness. It's not an easy night. We've played so very badly, and if it was just one game, I could live with it. If it was just one game where we played so very badly and it was a complete fluke, a complete one-off, okay. But we've had this so many times now. And it's not just against the top teams like Chelsea or Arsenal. We've struggled. I mean, we didn't play brilliantly against Leeds. We won the game, but we weren't convincing.
No.
You
We've
know,
struggled against everybody but Burnley, haven't we? I mean, we struggled against Wolves.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We
They
struggled.
got 2 points.
Wolves have got
See,
2 points, and we're responsible for 50% of them.
Yeah. I mean,
Fulham
man.
had not won away from home until they faced us this season.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Like, and people can joke about the Doctor's Tottenham's rubbish as much as they like, but there is an issue there if a good but not great Fulham side. You know, this is not stacked full of brilliant players. All right. A reasonable Fulham side with an experienced Premier League manager who is probably at the right level for him, probably is not going to go a lot higher. If they can come and they can inspire their side to basically pull us apart in such an easy fashion against a manager that we were told was pragmatic and was going to make us defensively solid. And I don't see any pragmatism, and I certainly don't see defensively solid.
Don't see set piece expertise either anymore.
Really early on in the season, we did have a decent defence. I thought the problem had been solved. So what has he tinkered to make that change?
Yeah.
No, but we were still giving up lots of chances. The reason why our numbers were low was because Vicario was in the form of his life. And that kind of thing doesn't last that long. So Vicario's form has dropped a little. And I think now is probably the time to talk about it. That was a boneheaded mistake. That was a boneheaded mistake. I've seen goalkeepers come out and take the ball into that area, and they do the really sensible thing, which is whack it as hard as they can into Rosette, and then turn the jets on and get back into goal. Instead, he tried to play it down the line straight into trouble. Yeah. And as soon as he did that, I was like, we're going to concede here, because all it took was
he didn't actually
one Fulham player getting the ball and they just knock it into a net.
By the way, he didn't turn the jets on to go cover the net either.
He didn't even move that quickly.
Yeah, he did. That's the point. By the way, it was a Welshman who scored as well.
Yeah.
Welsh.
Not making it better.
You know,
rugby, shall we, Ash?
What?
Let's talk about the rugby, shall we?
I think Vicario's mistake.
I don't even watch that anymore.
Vicario, it went wrong for Vicario.
Yes.
In that move, it went wrong with Vicario when he tried to control the ball. It wasn't so much the attempted pass up the line. It was the fact that when he came out, instead of immediately booting it out, he tried to control it and then do something with it. Once he'd got control of the ball, he was really in big trouble, because you can kick it out to Rosette if you like, but people aren't bringing the ball back from Rosette. They're sitting on the little golf tees all around, and that, you know, if he'd kicked it out, there was no way he was going to get back into goal before they'd got the ball and crossed the ball. So I think like where he messed up was when he tried to control the ball. He shouldn't have tried to control it. It was just kick it into Rosette and turn around and run. Once he tried to control it, he was in all sorts of trouble.
Exactly what he did 5 minutes later.
Was it? Yeah. I think I would probably still have my eyes closed crying.
Everyone cheered at that point, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was awful. I felt awful for him. Felt
You know,
awful for him.
as amateurish
Exactly.
as amateurish as that was, he actually has kept us in games this season, and it would
Yeah,
be
Monaco,
The reason
even
we got a point
worse.
in Monaco was down to him.
Chelsea.
It would
Yeah.
even worse, without his saves. But
Mm.
he's got a bonehead play in him every game, and I don't know. What's your point, Stu? That you think we should look at Kinski? We should look at getting somebody
No,
else in?
I think you need to ensure that the players feel confident in what they're doing. And at the moment, I don't see confidence in the team. It seemed to me like for that 10-15 minute period where we actually turned things on and we played well, confidence started to build in the side, right? We started to have players actually trusting themselves and doing things that we hadn't seen at the start of the season, taking things on that were higher chances, low percentage success things. They were taking players on, they were doing things that
Yeah.
you wouldn't expect to see from this side, and we haven't seen up until now. The point that really clicked it for me was when Mo Kudus did the back heel, right? Running forward, back heeled it. I think it went to Pedro Porro. Okay. That showed real confidence. That showed real technique. That showed, fuck me, it took some balls to do that.
Mm.
And it was the first time in the game we'd seen anybody try anything like that.
And
And we looked good at that point, and that was the point I came up with the title for today's episode. Let them cook. Let these boys cook. Let's take the young players we've got. Let's take the players who are good technically, got some heart, got some drive, got some really good ability, and just put them in the pitch. Tell them to play football the way that they know how to play football, and let them cook. Because right now, we're just stifling them.
yeah, and
We're
this is all
stifling these
this
players.
like trying to move Kevin Danso 1 meter to the right, and Porro,
Yeah.
that's what's killing it. It's killing them.
What
Completely
we
agree with you,
actually
Stu.
need, what we need right now is basically Harry Redknapp to come along. Here's the team. Go and run around a bit.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'd love to have Harry Redknapp. I loved Harry. Not now, obviously, but
No, but you know what I mean, though.
Mm.
You're right, David. His micromanagement is not working, and it's
No.
ridiculous. That's
I think it just saps their confidence. And just like for all that I said about the atmosphere in the stadium, in that 15-minute period, apart from Pedro Porro getting cunted off by the entire South Stand when he asked us to cheer,
Yeah, that was bad.
that was
Not
really
the fans, but just asking for it. Just asking for people to.
I think we'd been playing well for about 2 minutes, and he comes
Yeah.
over for a corner and goes, "Just all that, come on!"
Give it some. Give it some.
And I think there were about 15 or 20 people just
Blanked him.
no. Nobody really cheered, and about 15 or 20 people gave him some vitriolic abuse. And I don't agree with it at all. But it was, I just don't agree with it. But if I put that to one side, during that 15-minute period, the atmosphere in the stadium went up 20 notches. Everybody was singing their hearts out. Everybody encouraging. You can't ask the supporters to create an atmosphere in a vacuum. You've got to give them something to go on. I mean, they've really had nothing to go on for 45 minutes in the first half, nothing at all. And as soon as we started really going for it, if I just put to one side the Porro thing, people really sort of gave it some welly in the stands. Yeah, the atmosphere can come back.
I feel sorry for Porro in a way because despite some dodgy performances, I mean, he wasn't great this yesterday, but he has passion. It runs right through him, and I think he probably hurt more than any other player getting that abuse.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Really
yeah,
I feel sorry for him there, but but Porro's a great example of what I've been thinking about. We've got a lot of players. Every player in that squad is capable of a really good performance. What we lack in there are players that have got consistency week in, week out. And even a lot of players who can hold their concentration for 90 minutes. I mean, a lot of players will have a lapse of concentration. At that level, you can't afford it. You've got to turn it in, week out, and concentrate and get in the zone. I think too many players are not in the zone. Now, is that problem of the individual? or is it a problem of their confidence getting shot by tactics they can't handle? Being changed all the time, etc., like we were talking about earlier. I mean, we're sitting from the outside looking in, and I'm no psychologist. But anyway.
Hey,
I'm
No, but I
firmly
think
of the
everything you've just said
opinion.
is absolutely right. Completely agree
Yeah.
with you, Adam.
can I ask two other players? And quite frankly, I don't know how good they actually potentially are. But people speak of them who are basically not even getting in the side starting, Xavi and Tell. And I'm going, what must they think? One of them is an under 21 French international. Will probably end up being a French international soon. And Xavi, people talk about him as being, well, he's a Dutch international, and he's not even starting. He didn't start any of those 3 games in the last week. And Tal didn't start any of those 3 games in the last week. I mean, what do some of these players? They're probably not on board because they're not being played. What do you think
Well,
about those?
I think, but they're all players. Hang on, who did you say? Tell, Xavi, and who?
Tell him, Xavi.
Yeah.
Tell and Xavi, but they're both players that are not really ready. I mean, I think Tell is going to be really great one day. I think he's got an unbelievable attitude, great mentality, and I think he's going to be really good. Xavi, I'm a bit more worried about because he's been in a lot of leagues and a lot of clubs, even though he's young, and he hasn't really taken off at any of them. He's coming to Spurs in the Premier League, and he looks too slow and too weak. But he might. He might, but he might come good. But that means that for at least the next 4 or 5 months, he needs to be coming on as a sub. He doesn't want to. I don't want him starting games. He's not good enough. Not at the moment. He will. He might be one day, but he doesn't look good enough to me. It was another stinker Saturday night from him.
Well, the reason I brought those two up is because you were just saying earlier, Dave, not too long ago, that our squad is basically average. Would you include those guys as being average? I mean, who would you include? Who would you say is basically average in our starting 11?
Well,
Paro,
all the strikers except maybe Moani. But
okay.
jury's actually haven't seen very much of him. Bentancur's average.
Yeah.
I think everything on the left, from the defence to the forwards, is average.
Including
Odobert, he's not a top player. I think Kudus is like a decent top 10 player. He's not necessarily a top 4 or top 5 player. Doesn't look like that to me. I mean, the only real sort of top class players we've got are Mickey van der Ven, and potentially Cutie when he's on his game.
What about those young guys, the 19-year-olds?
Potential.
Bergvall.
Yeah, he is great. Yeah, Bergvall. I forgot.
And Gray.
But I think Gray hasn't shown it enough yet for me to be able to say that
He hasn't
the
played.
answer to all the problems.
He hasn't played. I think those.
No,
He's not really had a chance.
He's basically started 3 games this season.
I agree. But it's just I can't say. He looks really good, but how good.
Yeah, so it's hard to judge. Some of the players are just not even playing, so we don't even know if they're just average players. But they could be. They could well be. Part of that Levy strategy of scrimping on the pound and getting something less than elite players in.
Yeah.
My concern is that we are slipping down the league right now.
Absolutely.
And people pointing to January and saying, oh, but January's coming and we can make some changes in. I don't see how you convince a player who's happily playing at another club and doing well to come to Tottenham as the ship slowly dips beneath the waves.
Wonga, money.
Yeah, well, Moani did because he for some reason he wasn't happy at PSG, so he came over.
He wasn't getting game time, and he was told he wasn't going to get game time.
Right, so we'd have to try and find people like him, perhaps.
Right, but that's when the Europa League winners come calling for you, not the side in what we're now 12th.
It's World Cup year, so any player that is not getting game time and thinks he should be playing for his country is a potential signing.
Yep.
Do we
Good point.
recall Vuskovic
I'll
from his
be honest, I like Danso, but I've always been more impressed with Danso when he's filled in for Van der Ven. He's always been like the pacey guy at the back and not been like the passer at the back. I don't think he really stands in for QT Romero all that well. Romero is significantly better on the ball, and you've suddenly got two players who, despite having qualities, Danso and Van der Ven are not great passers of the ball from the back. And it makes things a little bit more easy to pick up. And we saw some loose passes from both of them yesterday.
Absolutely.
As I said, I think Danso, when he plays instead of Van der Ven, is a very good player. But we need to find someone that can step in and be a little bit more dominant and be a little bit more forthright with their passing when Cuti Romero is injured or suspended. Luckily, the suspension seems to have been reduced significantly over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
But
The thing is with Romero,
18-year-old Vuskovic might be a bit too much to ask him to do that.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, if
Yeah.
he's good enough, he's old. If he's good enough, he's old enough, kind of thing. However,
Another good game today by the sound of it.
Romero, I'm starting to have a problem with. He's one of these people who falls into that inconsistency bracket, and also lapses of concentration.
Absolutely.
A top player doesn't do that. Now, technically, he might be great, but he's got to be on top of that all of the time, not just when he feels like it. And also, don't go hiding when there's an international break coming up. You know.
I'm going to say something really stupid. And yet another really stupid thing, probably me saying stupid things all evening.
I was going to say,
which is like, I don't really. I know we've just let in 11 goals in 3 games.
But
I don't think. But I don't think the defenders are the problem. So I don't. You know, I don't know about bringing what's his name back from wherever he is, because I don't think we really. I don't think we particularly need. That's not where we're having trouble. Is
well,
you know.
So you're making a point that it's actually the overall defense, not just the defenders, like the
way we're setting up. Yeah.
Midfield. Not the midfield is not covering the space in front, outside the penalty box, that sort of thing. Yeah, that's what you're talking. Yeah.
So I mean, you know, I mean, we really needed a more creative, sort of midfielder. You know, that is ready. That is ready now. Not going to be ready next year, maybe. We needed someone on the left to replace Sonny. We didn't get him. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eze, Gibbs White, what's his name, Savinia, debacles this summer. 3 absolute disaster. That's what we're seeing, you know. And you know, people say Eze only wanted to go to Arsenal. You know, it's exactly like the Jack Grealish transfer from Aston Villa. It's exactly the same scenario. Exactly the same scenario. Now, was it 6 years ago? Villa were in the Championship, had money trouble, had to sell Grealish. We were in there, getting near a price that Aston Villa agreed to. Danny Levy starts going, okay, but I'll pay it 50p a year over a millennium, and then starts, you know, frigging around so long that eventually, by the time we're getting closer, American money comes into Aston Villa and they go, well, actually, we don't need to sell him anymore. If we'd pulled the trigger when we had it, we would have had Jack bloody Grealish, and I would love to have Jack Grealish in this side. And I think the Eze thing was exactly the same. We had an offer in, we're frigging around backwards and forwards with Arsenal. I'll pay you 50p a year for the next 20,000 years. And then Odegaard gets injured, and all of a sudden Arsenal are in for him. If we'd have sewed that up when we had the chance to sign him, Eze would be a Spurs player now. He would be a Spurs player now. He would be, you know. Steve
regardless
Bruce,
of the fact he might be an Arsenal supporter, but at the time they said we don't need him. Go in there, get him, do the deal, but we didn't.
Yeah, Steve Bruce confirms exactly that Jack Grealish story, and Steve Bruce has gone on record saying that is what happened with Jack Grealish.
Oh yeah,
we frigged around so long. You know, it's just anyway. That's the past. Levy's gone. Funnily enough, I feel like the owners have gone quiet.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, haven't they?
I haven't seen
And
any
Vinay
touchy.
Venkatesham has been extremely quiet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
funny, isn't that? Perhaps if they'd said we have full confidence in Thomas Frank, then we'd be
They could
saying.
have at least said that, but they didn't.
I don't know if you say that, people ask the question, but do you really?
I know.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, it's been done so many times. The board comes out and says we have full confidence in the thing, and everybody goes, "Oh, he got the vote of confidence," and you know what happens? 3 weeks later, he's out on his ear because he hasn't been good enough.
They're not going to. I don't think they're going to fix this in January with transfers. What we've got is what we're going to have to use, but with all the criticism I have of the squad and the players, they are better than what they're doing at the moment. It's a bit like what I used to say about Ange is, okay, you didn't get a top 4 squad for Ange, but you didn't get a 17th place squad either. And this is exactly the same for Thomas Frank. He has to get more out of these players.
And if he can't, and it's a mid-season sort of parting of ways, who could possibly take over the reins?
It'll be Matthew Wells till the summer.
No,
Is he
there wouldn't be a
reserve? Is he the reserve coach?
No,
Yeah,
he's the assistant head coach.
Yeah.
Or he's the
assistant to the head coach. Sorry.
Assistant to the head coach. Yeah.
Sorry, that's the office.
Yeah. Let's quickly. I think we briefly touched on it, but I think probably one of the most difficult things that's happened over this weekend is some of the statements that have come out from the manager and 3 players, I think, have said various things about real Tottenham fans.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think gatekeeping who you think is a real Tottenham fan and thinking that you've got the authority to say that someone is not a real Tottenham fan is a big problem. So that just feeds into probably a wider issue of once a manager starts fighting with the fans, that manager is done. I can't ever remember things turning around once the manager starts having an issue with the fans and starts making it vocal and making it known. That manager is pretty much out the door. It's just a matter of time.
It happened with Angela season when he cupped.
Well, it did happen, didn't it?
Yeah.
Cupped it. I think that was a bit of playful banter, a bit of joking. What Thomas Frank said was not banter, was not joking, could not be done in any way. If we're going to touch on the Ange thing, the disappointment was he didn't stand by it and he didn't say, I was having a bit of a laugh with him. He tried to make out as though it was something else. That was the big problem with Ange.
Completely agree, yeah.
Right. But if I was to come on this podcast and I would say those players, those managers, those supporters who booed him, they're not real fans. Right? How much of a dick would I look? Okay. Those
Even more of the one you do now.
Exactly. Right. And with this haircut, that's difficult. But
I wasn't going to say that.
I was.
Those people paid good money to go and watch that game. Those people paid good money to go and express themselves the way that they felt was right. And for Thomas Frank to say it and then be backed up by Pedro Porro and Pat Matassar, and there's been a 3rd player as well. I can't remember who it was. I've got a feeling Vicario have said something.
I thought Vicario was pretty good on what he said.
Well, he admitted he made an error and then it didn't help the team, certainly. But there have been comments like real fans or true Tottenham fans.
Yeah. Well, yes, last night he didn't say anything like that. Yeah, but there's also all the sort of hiding from the fans, sort of something about them gathering in the centre circle to walk off and not. It's weird. Like it's not just Frank; it's the actual team is got the fans on their back now.
Yeah, Pedro Porro was shouting a few things at the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I really did not like it at all when Porro got pelters from the crowd. I didn't like it, so I thought this isn't good. What purpose does this serve? And it was really vitriolic. It was really nasty. And my son, who was sitting 2nd row behind the goal, said, it wasn't just booing Vicario. There are about 3 or 4 guys 4 rows back. So what are they, about 20 feet away from Vicario, screaming at him for about 20 minutes about what a useless human being and what a piece of shit he is. I mean, I'm not going to say that they're not real fans. They are real fans, and that's the reality of being a fan. And I don't agree with it. But these people, I don't know whether it was at the beginning of the podcast or it was before we went live, saying, my son's paid 1,400 quid 2025 on Premier League home matches, and he's seen 3 victories. I mean, it's not just one mistake. It's really bad. It's really bad. And if the players can't understand that people have had it up to here with that, and they start saying that they're not a real fan, because 1,400 quid for Vicario is nothing, But for your average man in the street, it's a sizable investment. They have to understand. Unbelievable.
And for manager and players to say things like, "Oh, the fans need to be our 12th man, and they need to be the ones that give us the push and raise us up to those levels." No, I'm sorry, you've got to be the ones that go out there and show them why they should be cheering you. It's not up to them to get you to raise your levels. It's up to you to entertain and get the fans emotionally alongside you. Because right now you're losing it.
Yeah.
You go and see a comedy show somewhere. If the comedian's absolutely crap, the atmosphere is dire.
Yeah.
Is that the crowd's fault? Is that the audience's fault? No. Yeah.
And if the comedian comes out swinging and says, "Oh, you're a shit crowd, aren't you?" Things don't get better.
No.
Yeah, I was reading a shopping list and you weren't even laughing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's a real issue, and I think that's for me right now. That's probably the biggest issue. We've seen some terrible football. We've seen some terrible results, but right now we've got a manager who's committing harikiri in front of us, and doesn't seem to be aware of what's going on. And he seems like a smart guy. He's not. This guy is not a fool. He's a smart guy. He's got to know.
It is a big issue. They shouldn't be talking about fans like that. You're right. I am totally against all this booing and having a go at players, right? Because they actually do need our support in difficult times. Yes, I agree with that. But everybody's different. And there's a lot of people out there who have got different emotions to what I would have and will react differently. Maybe it's because I don't drink and they do, but I don't know. But you can't say they're not real Tottenham supporters.
No, can't do that.
You can disagree with the way they react, but
they've got to row back these comments. They've got to row back these comments and say, it was the heat, it was the pain of having performed badly. I was emotional. I wasn't thinking about what I was saying. Whatever they need to say, they need to row it back, and then they need to say, and over the next matches, I'm going to show you that you should trust me. And that needs to include Thomas Frank, but they've got to do a reset of the relations, because this is going to get really nasty. This is going to get really nasty.
It could do. It really could.
You were there yesterday, David.
Yeah.
How toxic was it really in there?
I really felt like it was really well. I think I said at the beginning of the match, what was really noticeable was that it was a morgue at kickoff. So you had the teams being read out at the beginning, and you usually have the big cheer. It was a half-hearted cheer, great. You doggy, yeah, great. Danso, great. Like polite clapping, and then kickoff. Absolutely, I'm looking at the people around me, and I'm thinking I'm getting ready to sing, but absolutely, I'm not going to do it by myself because a bit shy. But if everyone's going for it, I'll go for it with them. Absolutely, everybody was just standing there watching, arms crossed, not a sound. I could hear the Fulham fans like full bore. It was silent. And I was looking around. People are just watching, and so it's not at that point. It wasn't toxic. It was just very, very, very quiet. But team needs to go out and get them up, because when we started playing well, the crowd really got up and were really singing.
I went with them.
Yeah. So if they produce something, we'll get behind. But I think it's got to a point where it has to come from the players first. You can't ask them, not after all of 2025, turning up and cheering and getting, the slop that we've been served up. I've been to a fair few of the matches too.
And for about 15 minutes, we did well.
Mm.
And it was killed by 3 substitutions.
Yeah.
I'm not having a go at the players who came on, but when something's working, don't break it, don't change it.
Yeah.
Get them to sit down again and say, we'll give this another 10, 15 minutes, see where it takes us.
Yeah.
But that really just put the brakes on everything, and we're just back to where we were before.
Absolutely. It was really noticeable. We'd had basically from the restart to the goal, which was 15 minutes, I think. I thought we looked a lot better. Still a lot of sort of mistakes and things like that, but a lot of intent, which we didn't have first half. But lots of silly mistakes, lots of final balls going astray. But you could tell they were really going for it, and the crowd were right up for it. Get the goal, and I'm pretty sure that the subs happened during the restart after the goal. I'm pretty sure.
Goal was 59 minutes, and the subs were at 60. So yeah, it would pretty much.
I think it was actually during the restart those subs came on, and I thought that after that we didn't look very good at all. We were back to sort of not being very good. There was a massive drop off.
Certainly did.
There was one other thing I'd like to touch on as well. Pedro Porro has been criticised for poor crossing. Yeah, some of them were bad crosses, but some of them were bloody good crosses. Unfortunately, their defence had it all sewn up. We were not going to win in the air against that defence. So why the hell did we carry on with the same tactic?
I didn't.
Marcel,
I didn't think an awful lot of his crosses beat the first man.
No, yeah, you're right, Dave. Marcel, Alistair Gold
there were some good crosses.
He completed three of either 16 or 19 crosses, and Kudus had just as bad with his crosses in terms of numbers we're talking about. And Alistair Gold said that it might have been 3 of 16, might have been 3 of 19.
It was 3 out of 19.
Horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
I'm saying he had bad, but the fact was, it doesn't matter just Pedro Porro, but any balls we put in there, they were just lapping them up. Why carry on with a tactic that's not working?
I completely agree with that. We were totally one time. We only had the right. Yeah, we only had the entire game plan was punt it to Kudus and get it to Porro for a cross, or vice versa. Right. that was the only tactical match.
That's been our tactical season,
Monaco, didn't we?
Sorry?
Yeah, that's been our tactical season. That's all we've done. We joked about it at Monaco. Every single time Vicario got the ball, it was punt it to Kudus. And there was one point where Vicario was stood with the ball, 5-6 seconds, just waiting for something to happen. No one crossing it, no one pressing him, no one closing him down. And somebody said, "Oh, just watch, it'll go to Kudus," and it did. And then Kudus went off, and next time Vicario had the ball at his feet, somebody said he'll probably go near the subs bench now, and it fucking did. So because Kudus was sat right there.
Actually, can I just ask one more question? Couldn't Brennan Johnson have come on yesterday? Isn't that? I mean, our top scorer last season.
I forgot about him.
We need a goal. We need a goal, and there's a guy that scores. How many? 22 goals last season.
18 goals last season.
18 goals last season. Okay. It was Mattis Tell came. I was only the last 5 minutes, so it was pretty much game over. But it was. He seems like to have become a forgotten man, and I know he has his limitations, and I know he was decried, and I was a major decrier. If he doesn't score, he doesn't provide anything. Okay, fact, but he does score. But he does score, and we needed goals. And how can he not? How can he not get it, even as a sub, an appearance? What's going on there? There's something going on there as well, isn't there? That's weird. Tell coming on.
He does
not
seem
him.
to have dropped off a lot.
I haven't seen him.
Yeah, but he did.
How do you know? Have you seen it?
He did score a screamer for Wales just before, during the international break, which shows he's still got the goal scoring thing in him. That was just 10 days ago type thing.
Well, I think he scored 2 goals. this season, despite only having played for about 30 seconds.
Yeah, he's
Uh-oh.
played about 6 matches or something. Yeah, Charlie's joining us.
Coming
Right.
back.
So,
Uh-oh.
I'm going to take us back to a little scenario, right? For me, it wouldn't take much to turn things around and just be a little bit more positive. It's almost taking things back to basics and saying, right, boys, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to play. Just having a clear game plan.
Yeah.
Oh, Charlie's joining us twice. He's all over the place tonight. Hey,
Yeah.
Charlie, how you doing?
I'm great.
It's two
Yeah, I
Charlies.
bet. Two Charlies. Some people would be very happy.
Oh,
I
look,
watched him as a pair of Charlies.
Charlie got angry and all his clothes got ripped. He's like the Incredible Hulk.
I did. I flexed.
I was pretty angry last night too, but at least I got changed afterwards.
You angry that you would have to agree with me at some point, David? Is that what you were angry about?
Never going to happen. Never going to happen.
Well,
So, does everybody remember when? Sorry, Charlie, I'm just going to talk over you a little bit. Does everybody remember when we had Stellini as manager, right? And things were
Yes.
interim head coach, whatever his title was, right? And things were about as bad as I can remember in the last 20 years, probably since the Jacques Santini days. He left. Mason came in, and Mason just went, right, we'll take things back to basics and we'll do things in a sensible manner. And we're going to, right, your defenders defend, your midfielders play midfield, and your attackers attack. And this is the way we're going to do it. And he just laid out a simple game plan, and he gave people some confidence back, and he gave people some authority. He gave them their chance to actually determine what they're going to be doing on the pitch, right? And it made a massive difference. You could see in the players there was confidence flowing through them, and it looked so much better on the pitch. Right now, I think there's still time for things to change. There's still time for that confidence to be built up. But I think it does mean we have to take things back to basics a little bit.
Oh yeah,
And we have to say,
that's my main point.
We have to say, right, go out there and actually try and play the football that you know how to play. You're damn good. You're damn fine players. That's why you're in the position you are.
Yeah,
right?
except you. except you, Zoe. Sorry.
Except you, Joel. Yeah. You're damn fine players. You all know how to play football. You've been doing it for most of your life, right? And it's your thing with telling Kevin Danso to stand 2 meters further forward. Kevin Danso bloody knows where he should be.
He knows. Ridiculous.
He's been playing football probably 14 years, since he was 10 or something, probably longer. Right? He's played that position a long time. He knows where to stand. He's from thousands and thousands of minutes on the pitch and playing in exactly those kind of games. He knows where to stand. He knows where the ball's likely to go. And you just need to give players the chance to actually be themselves on the pitch. And I thought that was one of the things Mason did extremely well. As one of the things I thought that Ange did well was he gave people the chance to be themselves on the pitch. And I don't think Frank does that. I think it's not too late to change, but it will be soon if he does.
Pick a system, pick your main players, put them out there, just play it week in, week out, and things will change. And stop fucking around. You're not playing, what's it called, Subbuteo.
Yeah.
You're playing Premier League football.
But is Frank capable of doing that? I mean, he's got.
If he's not, he's going to get fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
if
then
he can't,
gets good
then what's worse, paying someone off and hopefully getting someone better in, or continuing to live with this? Because if he can't make those changes, then he doesn't deserve to be manager of Tottenham Hotspur. Charlie, right? Charlie's obviously come on for a reason. Charlie has obviously joined us with something to say. It may well be vitriolic.
I bet Charlie's going to complain about the social media posts.
Charlie, what were your
thoughts? It's endemic, David. Endemic. No, I just wanted to see your guys' faces.
Oh, we wanted to see yours too, Charlie.
Those boos must really the acoustics of that stadium must really accentuate those boos. And I feel
Dave
like
was there. Dave was there. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, that's it was tough on Vicario because he's been in general he's been good, but to single someone out. But anyway, my opinions on this, boys. It's endemic of the club. The club looks great, but it's got a hollow core, and until there's genuine investment in that and take yourself seriously. Like, you built this beautiful aesthetic around Tottenham, this amazing brand. Yet it's like I don't know, like a Malteser. Well, no, that's harsh on Maltesers, really. I'm trying to think of some
That's
kind of
harsh
chocolate
because
that
Maltesers get better the further you go. So
they really do. Yeah, I mean, it's just hollow on the inside. It's like yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Like, and I think that, the appointment of Frank is just emblematic of that. And I do think the players have down tools somewhat. I just think they look at Frank, and in everything I see, it signals to me that the players don't want this manager here, and they're here, they're spending valuable years of their career at Tottenham, and they want to be shepherded by somebody with genuine, who they believe will take them to the top. And I'm looking at them all, and there's some of them there. I think Mickey van der Ven is the next one to really spit his toys out the pram, if he hasn't already, about just where the club is, in terms of the guidance from the top is actually heading right now. And I think the fans will force the hand of the new board. I'm not massively convinced on Vinay. And I think the fans will just force the hand of the board to make a big decision and be vocal about what their plan is moving forward, because otherwise we could just end up in a new Daniel Levy situation with the same owners, really. I don't care if the board has changed people. We need to know exactly what the plan is moving forward. We're supposed to be a big club right now. We're acting like, I think we're in a relegation fight right now. I'll tell you that right now. I don't think it looks like one, but I think we're in a relegation fight. I don't see how he's going to change things overnight. He's already had a month of really awful, turgid XG and crowd disgruntlement to actually do something about this, and he's done nothing. He's done I mean, the PSG game, you can't talk about that because it's a European game, and we're naturally better in Europe because we're playing non-Premier League opposition. But anybody would have put up a fight against PSG that night. They turned up knowing they were playing Tottenham, and they took 60 minutes to get into gear. And as soon as they applied the tiniest bit of pressure, we crumbled, and it was embarrassing by the end. I can't believe people are going that as a good result. Or an encouraging result. It was fucking awful. We conceded 5 goals. That is it's just the most annoying thing to hear. It's like, positive signs, and you lose 5-3. I don't know.
Part of the grappling was the failure to defend that 18-yard line.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, those are good defenders, Marcel. Those are top defenders. Those are all international level defenders. Goalkeeper, João Palhinha, they are great players. They are not that bad. They are not. They just can't be fucked. Down tools.
Or they're being told to leave that area open. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because Thomas Frank famously doesn't believe he scored from long shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right.
So Kudus really shouldn't have taken that shot because it was a low percentage chance.
Probably been dropped for it.
We'll find out soon enough.
What do you think? Do you think we're in a relegation fight, boys? Because we're not that far away from it.
I think we're in relegation.
Carries on like this, we are. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see how it's going to change.
Be saved
can't beat Fulham
by there being just 3 worst teams in the league. I can genuinely see if things carry on the way up, we will finish 17th again.
That's the Tottenham way, apparently. But it begs the question really quick, and I'm just getting my airtime in right now because I haven't really spoken much. But I do think they'll make a change before January, because I don't think they're going to give Thomas Frank the money. I think the fans can sense that they're onto something here. It's gone past the apathy phase where people just can't be bothered. Now they're getting vitriolic. And I'm sure, being in the stadium, David, you could sense that the crowd were after.
I talked about that earlier. You'll see what I said earlier about how awesome the stadium. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I just think they're after him right now, and I don't think I think there's a critical mass of people who want him out, and I think they'll get their own way.
No, one of the main things I said though, Charlie, was that what's really worrying is they're not just after Thomas Frank now; they were going after the players.
Right. Yeah.
And the players are making it worse for themselves on the social media.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay. I think the manager and players trying to turn it back onto the fans is a really bad idea.
Yeah.
I think it's an awful idea.
Not going to fly.
I hope someone has sat them down. I hope someone from our social media team has sat them down and said, look, gents, this is not the way to do this. You need to be nicer. because clearly,
Come on.
you know,
It was a really weak move from Thomas Frank coming out. Really weak from Thomas Frank coming out and saying that you know that line. It's almost like a canned line where you have to say that they're not proper fans. I think that's a it was really bad taste, man. That was not well advised. He might have been right in sentiment, but he was very wrong to say that. I think he's probably lost a decent amount of credibility there from us lot.
Yeah.
Big
So
problem.
I don't want to talk about it tonight, but I would like everyone, if this carries on, I'd like people to come and just give me a name of who they want to be the next Tottenham manager, because I think we're getting closer and closer to that time.
Well, if Thomas Frank
Not
gets
tonight.
canned, gets canned, I'll never suggest a Tottenham manager again. Yeah, so it may not have been like horrendously wrong. So don't listen to me. Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, at some point, Thomas Frank is going to get canned. It's just when that happens. Is it this season or 16 seasons in the future? You know.
Well, maybe we'll finish 17th and win the Champions League. Who knows?
No. Well, I'd say that's all right, but playing like this, I'm not sure it is.
I'm not joking.
I can put up with some bad football. I can't really put up with a lack of effort or a lack of complete any kind of organization. That's really bugs me.
It must be horrible playing at home and knowing that it's worse than playing away. That your fans are so ready for you to make a mistake that they're so ready to get up your ass that it actually has a negative impact on your football. And so how is someone like Thomas Frank going to turn that around? You know,
I turn that entire question around. For me, the fans are ready to get back on board and back the team on the pitch. You just look at what happened when we actually started playing some good football. The fans were getting behind them. They're waiting for it. They're waiting to be shown something to support. And then,
but can I just say, I just don't feel like since Chelsea, and I can't remember who played before Chelsea, but there's been zero application from the players. I mean, not even like a level of like, not even a level of like, this is going to look bad on me if I don't make an effort. Like they're genuinely not playing football. They're not doing anything. And as much as anything else, I think that's just really, I mean, it's a football team, like, let alone the flair and the glory and all that. It's a non-starter. How has he hasn't been called to account for that, Thomas Frank, really, has he? He's not. Why are you playing so shit?
Well, you know what he'd answer if the journalist asks why are you playing so shit, he'll go, that's a very interesting point. That's a very good point. It's very interesting. I'll need to look at that and I'll come back to you.
Examine it with my team.
I'll examine that with my team. That's the Thomas Frank character. Really looks like a rabbit in the headlights.
The reality is we've had one good performance since the start of October. One genuinely good performance, and that was against Everton. We beat Leeds as well in that time, but even that was a struggle. That wasn't a great match. Yeah. One genuinely good performance since October.
We did okay against Copenhagen, didn't we?
It's not a serious team, though. You can't take anything.
Ashley,
from
don't you
matches
even
like that.
Think about it, Ashley.
Yeah, it just doesn't count.
It just goes to show how the level of the Premier League is so good. There's no time off. You're not going to play a bad team. I mean, obviously, even Wolves almost did all right against Villa today. Everyone's really, really, of a standard.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna close with my optimism, which is Frank's going to realise that he's got to stick to one system, stick to a group of players, and just make small adjustments where necessary, and stop changing the system every single match, and stop micromanaging the players on the field. If he does that, we can do something. If he doesn't,
and how many more matches does he get to do that, David?
Not many.
Like
David, I'll counter that.
Yeah,
I think that he's been doing it his way for so long, and he's not going to change.
But if he doesn't, then he's going to get fired by Christmas.
He may well do.
He'll be fired by
Then
Christmas.
he'll go down saying they didn't give me enough time, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the couple of million compensation.
Yeah. Okay.
probably 5 to 10 million compensation you get. I mean, we've got
whatever.
if we don't put in a good result, a good performance against Brentford, and we don't beat Nottingham Forest, I think he's gone.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I think it's it. That'll be it.
And
'Cause
is it
Newcastle, I
getting
don't
to
see
a
anything.
point where maybe the players are saying, let's lose these games to get rid of him?
No, I don't think they ever
Yeah.
do that. I think what happens
I
is
don't
we lose the games because the players don't know what they're supposed to be doing from one match
Well,
to the
there's that
next.
as well.
That's
But
the
I think
problem.
Marcel has a bit of a point. I mean, subconsciously, if you know that this manager isn't the one who's going to take you to the top, there's this kind of like a "fuck you, I'm not playing for you" kind of deal. But like, this is just stupid. I mean, the faster we get, I reckon players these days are smart enough to go, listen, guys, the faster this guy gets out of here, the faster we can get on with someone else, because they know deep down they're with him 7 days a week, 6 days a week. They know deep down that Frank, you can't be learning on a job at a club like Tottenham, and I think we give people too much leeway about that. I think you can't be learning on the job. And Pochettino, when he came in, at least he looked like he wanted to attack. And that first year wasn't easy for him, and then it all clicked. And he was under the cosh a little bit with that high line. Everyone was, we were all a little bit confused as to what he was doing, but he got enough credit in the bank through at least, playing attacking football or trying to. I think Frank's fucked because he can't even play defensive football when trying to. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, that Poch thing, he was saved by that Aston Villa game, which was early November. That's where things turned around for him. We're now at the end of November, and there still seems to be no sign of the ship turning, which is a major concern. Maybe this board has got some serious balls, and maybe this board is going to be backing this guy right the way through. I don't know. It will be a difficult.
I would rather see their
season if
balls
that's Sweden.
sack him tomorrow.
If Frank doesn't change, they have to sack him. If he doesn't change, they're going to have to.
And Marcel's probably right. He's not going to change. He can't change. That's it. So it's a matter of when. After the Brentford game, that would be horrible. Absolutely horrible to lose.
Nasty,
Yeah. Okay, well, gents, we've been talking for over an hour. And I think we have reached the general break. But I just really hope that at this point, Frank is going to be pragmatic enough to work out what we should be doing and go ahead and just win some fucking games of football. Thank you, everybody. And we will be seeing you in about a week's time. Oh, dear. We'll be back after the Brentford game. We'll be talking Newcastle. We'll be talking Brentford. And we'll be talking about 6 points. 4 points. 1 point. Let's hope we're talking about at least 1 point. All right, everybody. Thank you. And let's say it all together. Come on, you
Spurs.
Take the punch with every wild take. We raise up our glass while pundits just chuckle. Ignore them, alas. The CADS chat shit. To the left and the right, we're taking a hit, so you know it's true. Hear the banter ignite. Raise your voice loud, shout it out tonight. The CADS chat shit. We'll sing it again with a smile and a grin. Oh, here's to the boys. Let's make it a trend with a wink and a nudge. Let the fun never end. Last week we claimed it'll be 5-0 for sure. Now we're debating if we'll score at the door. Did you see that last miss? What a fiery debate. As we pull up our chairs and we narrow our fates. Hot takes flying high, we're the kings of the pub. While the lads on the pitch just need a good rub. From the top of the table or right back to the ground, you'll hear us all chatting that familiar sound. The CADS chat shit. To the left climb up the ranks while the